That's the stuff. All right, let's dive right into it, guys. So yeah, it's been a busy couple of days, as you all probably know. Oh man, the fourth season total landscaping with a campaign. That was all right. We're not going to talk about that, but we'll talk about this inside Star Citizen. This is the episode that came out on Thursday. Now, obviously, it's been a busy week. I was in no kind of mental state to do this video on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, so we're doing it today. And I actually haven't watched through the whole thing, so let's do it together here and see what beautiful tidbits are in store for us. Now, I did scroll through it quickly, and I saw there were some things on Homesteads. I'm excited to go see what they talk about this, because that is a major, major part of the game. So let's roll this. Here we go.
I see a thing, I understand it, I expect it to behave a certain way, and then it does.
Very simple sentence there. Excuse me, I always need water after a good espresso. Don't ever call it espresso. My wife will fly to wherever you live and kick your ass, because she grew up in Italy, so if you say espresso, it's like torturing her ears. Espresso. And I'm probably screwing that up also. But anyway, yeah, a very simple sentence there to begin with, but he's right, because what makes a game is when you see something and you expect that thing to do a certain job or be able to do a certain thing, and it doesn't. I don't say it breaks the immersion, but it makes games so much better when you see a rock and you want to lift up that, I'm using an example, you want to put that rock on top of another rock. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference in a game. I'm trying to think of a recent example. Half-Life Alyx, maybe, I think was a great example of just every single object being movable. And if you wanted to stack a beer bottle on top of a lamp, on top of a chair, on top of a table, you could. I don't know why you want to do that. Not that I did that, which I did, but you can. It's just giving you a sense that everything in the world is real and where it should be. So that's what he's talking about here, where he's saying an object, when you find an object on the ground, can you pick it up? Can you put it other places? Yes, you can. It adds a lot to the game. Very important. A simple thing, but so important to actual gameplay.
A playground of the...
Well, is there anything in there that we should see? Any kind of
primarily to
hidden...
demonstrate...
Okay. Reclaimer. Hammerhead. No. The four different... no. What's that? No, that's a saber. No. Okay. Nothing hidden here that's secret.
Playground.
Too bad. Could have slipped something in.
The functionality that we have. And also, here is...
Calyx Renault. And I'll just ask this question, all right? What is that in the background behind you? Because my first impression is that it's some sort of adult entertainment swinging device. I love the one thing I love about the coronavirus age. It's that we get to see the inside of people's homes where they live. As you can see, I have a white wall, but some people have very interesting things behind them. So is that a bowl of popcorn, some water, and a contraption which I should not actually talk about too much, because we're dying to know. Calyx, get in here and let us know what that is behind you.
Is an example setup of how those things are achieved. The reason I like zoos, philosophically, I believe as a game designer, the two core...
That's a nice touch. See that the pressurization meter is going up there, so you can see when the room is pressurized. Also, there's a lock button there, so I'm guessing you can lock airlocks out so people can't get in. Good, because now you can have another layer of security on your ship.
Even with something simple like a control panel, we can explore things like enabling and disabling the proximity sensor so that you have control over whether or not it lets you through automatically, or if you have...
Right. Well, I mean, we know how the doors work in Star Citizen, but I much prefer the Star Trek system where you just walk towards the door and it slides open for you. You don't have to push any buttons, so I very much prefer this method of having the sensors on. But I like they going deep enough into it that you get to choose how you want the doors on your ship to operate. I like that. Tell us about that swing in the background. We must know.
Many opportunities for...
Is it a swing now? I'm thinking too much about it.
Complex and nuanced behavior.
What? Wait, what else was that? What is that big staff in the background? What is this? What the hell's happening in this room?
There's the doors themselves, which give us many opportunities for complex and nuanced behaviors. Maybe we make this wedge kit that you physically place on the door, which pries it open, and which allows you then to sneak through. And maybe even pass.
Nice. I've wondered about that because the doors seem to be pretty hefty and I don't imagine that you can simply push them apart. So that makes perfect sense. If the power, you are locked out and you're trying to get into a certain area, the power goes out. How do you open those doors? Well, you need to have this wedge kit apparently. I'm assuming that they will exist as items, as consumables on the ship itself, or maybe you have to carry on with you. But yes, definitely makes boarding a hostile, when you engaging in a hostile action of boarding another ship and they shut the power down in an attempt, or you shut the power down and those doors are closed. How do you open them? Well, there's our answer.
It's time once again for a sprint report, so let's get to it. Now, there will be plenty of ship news coming out of IAE in the coming weeks, but let's go ahead and take a quick look at work from the graphics team on adding iridescence to the heart.
I'll be honest here. There's one color of paint I like on my ships, and that is the best camouflage paint in space, which is black. There is no better camouflage for space than black. All my ships must be in black, but they're going this kind of iridescent kind of shading here. I guess this is...
isn't necessarily the final look of the ship, but only a first implementation of this new aspect of...
This is not the final look of the ship? I thought they were pretty much done in the design of the ship. Okay, interesting. These look like sort of pistons here that will allow the wings to move in and out. I'm guessing the landing and the flight modes. I'm a big fan of the Talon. I think the look of it speaks to me. I'm a big fan of the Prowler too. Tavern design in general is definitely one of my favorites. I'll take it back. It is my favorite in the game.
The shader. You can bet that we'll be dialing it in further and that we'll see more of the Talon in later weeks ahead of its intended release in Alpha 3.12. The vehicle tech team has progressed on what they're calling the Radar Object Collection Subsystem.
Okay, this is kind of hard to see, but there's a little icon that popped up on that rock and that rock right there when he clicked resources. Was that it? So mineable rock 1, mineable rock 2.
Shows mineable rocks ahead, while toggling the infrared adds the cutlass info that...
Okay, again, kind of hard to see there, but you notice that there's now the distance marker on the cutlass. It says 100 meters. When you clicked IR, that popped up. It wasn't there before you clicked IR. So different functions of the radar being shown will pick up different objects, which is good because you walk into an area you don't know about and you're scanning for specific things. You can choose exactly what you want to find on your radar.
That's a bit farther behind them. Now, since not all scanning options will be available in all situations, reducing our options down to a simple cross-section scan means that we can see the ship when unobstructed, but that scan data is now occluded as asteroids or other items come between.
This is pretty important. I mean, we don't have that much scanning or exploration in the game right now. But in the very, very near future, when you drop into a new zone, new area you don't know about, the first thing you want to do is scan for the immediate threats. Are there any IR signatures, EM signatures? But those might be hidden. The ship might be turned off. So you do a cross-section scan. But if someone is smart, they're hiding behind a rock or behind another ship, you won't see them. So lots of different ways to scan. If you just scan for everything at the same time, it's overwhelming in an area with 50 plus players all doing different things. How do you know what is threatening, what is not? Being able to filter down your scans is actually very, very critical and important part of gameplay.
Between you and your target.
Oh, nice.
Now,
okay.
As this develops, it will apply to both ships as well as players or NPCs hiding behind.
So the cross-section disappears when it goes behind the rock. Beautiful. Good to see that in the game.
Meanwhile, work on Refinery Decks continues with this look at some of the exterior infrastructure.
Here we have a refinery station with some asteroids around it. Looks nice. I mean, industrial looking.
Finally, let's check in once again with the ongoing work of our colonial-style homesteads.
This is what I wanted to see.
We saw the 2D concepts turned into 3D concepts. And that was a big step in helping us visualize and evaluate the
direction we wanted to take. To me, this is so important. Let me pause for a second while I talk. I love ships. Listen, 890 Jumps, Idris's, Krakens, Polaris. I love the ships, but this, homesteads, allowing you to build your bases and homes on planets or moons or asteroids, wherever you want, one day, is such a major part of this game for an untapped, well, it's not an untapped bunch of the community. The community is probably aware of this too. What is that game? Fallout. Fallout 4 did this, where you could build your settlements. Settlement building in Fallout 4, they realized people wanted to come in and build their own settlements the way they wanted to. Some people wanted a shack, some people wanted a mansion, some people wanted anything in between. Creating and building a settlement for you and your friends, a place which you call home, is such an essential part to an MMO, in my opinion. Besides Fallout 4, what was it? Skyrim? Yeah. Skyrim, where you bought your house and you decorated the house with items that you found along. Now, everyone's got their own reasons for wanting a place to live in a homestead. Some people like to role play. They like to go in the hot tub and shower and then go into the bed and sleep, and then wake up and sit at the table and eat food and drink. Fine, if that's for you, that's great. For me, the importance of a homestead is being able to use it as a diary, as a record of things which have happened in the game. And I did this in Skyrim, which really made the game great, was when you killed a big boss, you killed one of the dragon priests, and you collect the mask, and you collect any weapon they may have had, and you go and you put it up on your wall. And over the hours or months or however long you've been playing, that room or that house becomes a diary of sorts, showing you all the things you did along the way. So you walk in, you go, I remember when I found that axe on the ground. That was in some mission or something I did in a cave, and it was dropped by some random NPC. It reminds you of the time you spent doing certain activities in the game. Now, in a game like Star Citizen, which you'll be playing for more than 45 hours total, more than 100 hours. In fact, many of you will be playing this for thousands upon thousands of hours. I hope that Star Citizen has the kind of longevity that EVE has, where it's going on 15 years right now. There's people still playing. Imagine 10, 15 years down the line from 2025 when the game comes out. You walk into your homestead here, and on the wall are displayed all these very unique and cool alien weapons or artifacts you found along the years. And it reminds you, oh, I remember back in 2026 when I went into this gas cloud and I found this asteroid. And on the asteroid was a crashed alien ship and this strange glowing artifact, which we don't know what it does yet. I found that and I've put it there on my dining table. There it is all these years later. That kind of stuff, I feel, makes a game amazing. So let's see what he says here.
Process, where we've now taken the raw, very rough 3D concept meshes and brought them down to a planet in engine, similar to the way the team reviewed 3D docking.
That looks kind of I'm just watching Rebels with my kids, and the planet is called Lothal. This looks like the buildings in Lothal from Star Wars Rebels. Am I right?
Concepts by sticking them onto existing space stations. Now, it's important to note here that these are still concepts and that the process of building them into viable in-game assets has not yet begun.
I can expect that they will require resources, which will not be that easy to source, because to expand or build new structures, you'll need materials which will be hard to find. Actually, I hope the way to do that, because, I mean, you can't expect to jump in the game and on day one build these massive villages and homesteads right away. It should be something which takes a long time to develop, and as you progress in the game, as you become richer, as you get more resources, so you can expand on your settlement and that of your friends. Eventually, can you imagine building so much that you and your friend connect one giant kind of settlement between the two of them? That's where I hope this goes.
How the structures feel along or against certain landscapes. What kinds of visual stories can be told through placement, orientation, or combination, and even be used to help identify any sort of structure type that might still be missing from the proposed toy box.
Yeah.
Beyond this,
I like it.
It's also just a really cool look.
You need some cable management there, but
when one day frontier towns full of NPCs with jobs or missions can be found throughout the universe.
All right, well, I just watched Mandalorian, as you should too, and that definitely looks like the one town. Moss, what is it? Moss something? That little town in the middle of nowhere. That looks just like that. I guess, is Mandalorian borrowing the assets from Star Citizen?
And then one day later, players themselves creating outposts all their own. Rest assured that as work progresses, we'll keep following. So what have we learned?
That was it. Well, all right. I am not disappointed. I am very glad that they are moving this direction. The homesteads look great. Thank you guys for joining me on this viewing of Inside Star Citizen a couple of days late, but I appreciate it. If you enjoy my content, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Your comments below are always appreciated. I'll catch you in the next one.